Good morning, everyone. My name is Vance Gregg. I'm a senior partner with Gregg Cardona Swaldi. It's my great pleasure, really. I want to thank God and thank you for being here this morning at this very meaningful event for our residents, for our guests, and ultimately for us and the team that helped make this possible. And Mayor Bowser, I want to thank you for joining us this morning and the rest of our invited guests. I'm going to move through this very quickly given your schedule, and it's my honor now to introduce someone very special. I happened to meet this gentleman when he first joined us as a resident, and he's one of our champions, Mr. Stuart Bailey, who actually lives here with us at residences at Kenilworth Park. Stuart?
Good morning, everyone. I want to welcome all of our guests to the residences at Kenilworth Park. I have been a resident since 8/14/23 and at home since that time. Being at the residence of Kenilworth Park has been a blessing, an honor, and a godsend experience. Everybody here I love, and I hope that they love me as well. I'm grateful that this community exists and has provided and met my needs as a senior. And at this moment, I would just like to say it's my honor and my privilege to introduce such a beautiful woman to the podium, Mayor of Washington, D.C., Miss Muriel Bowser.
Thank you. Well, let's give Stuart a big round of applause. Thank you, Stuart. And I think everyone said we love you, Stuart. And I want to congratulate everybody involved in this beautiful project. I just had the opportunity to walk around the building, to meet neighbors, to see a few rooms in the beautiful outdoor spaces. And this is exactly what I have in mind when I think about senior living in Washington, D.C. So to the Hall Bridge partners, Gregg Cardona Swaldi, thank you for investing in having the vision to execute this project. Give them a big round of applause. I want to acknowledge also members of my team, Deputy Mayor Wayne Turnage. I see Shiana here, Creighton, representing the Deputy Mayor, the Director of the Department of Aging and Community Living, Director Sharon Hines. Thank you, Director, for all of your work in making sure our government agencies ensure that we are supporting our senior residents. And we have, because you've given me the opportunity to be your mayor, we have really focused on housing, as you know. We've invested more per capita than any jurisdiction in the nation in affordable housing. We set a goal to create 36,000 new units by 2025, and we intend to meet that goal. And we intend to create affordable quality housing in every ward in Washington, D.C. And just like this wonderful building, quality affordable housing is indistinguishable from any other housing that's built around Washington. And I think that was the goal here, and I feel like it was achieved. We were together just last year breaking ground on the Lisner home, and I'm so proud to be here now in Ward 7 to break ground on to open, I should say, the residences at Kenilworth. We are proud to offer this facility as a Medicaid certified assisted living facility. We've made great strides in providing more assisted living beds and facilities throughout the city. This is what I know about Washingtonians. They want to stay in their own homes as long as they can, and we have programs to assist our residents in doing that. and then they want to make the decision about when they move to a different residence that provides more care. They want it to feel like home, and they want it to be supported by great staff. I was escorted by the lovely executive director, and my last question was, do you have the people you need? Because we can build great buildings, but it takes great people to make sure that our residents have what they need. So with that, I just want to say again, thank you. I want to acknowledge Chris Donald, who is also here from the DC HFA, Housing Finance Agency, which is a part of, I call them the brew of financial agencies that make affordable housing happen, including all of our private financial services agencies as well. The final thing that I will say is, as we go into tougher budget seasons, it's always important for us to keep our eyes on the things that help our city grow, because we will always need to make those investments. And having housing that is safe and quality and affordable along the income spectrum and along the age spectrum and across all 8 wards is what we will have to continue to focus on. So with that, congratulations and thank you to everyone. And now I'm going to introduce Chris Donald, who will say a few words and then introduce our development partners. Chris.
Osama, where's your guest of honor, the urban forester? Oh. Too soon? Good morning, everybody. My name is Christopher Donald, and I am the Executive Director and CEO at the District of Columbia Housing Finance Agency. And as I thought about coming here today, I thought about the birth of my first son. And if you've known me for a while, you heard me tell the story. My second son, rather. So my second son was coming. We wanted to have him naturally. He was resistant. And we got into the ambulance, we went to the hospital, and we were in labor. The nurses pulled him from his mother's womb. They took him out, they put him on the side, they dried him off, and they went to measure his head, and he went like this. And I looked up at the sky and I said, God, really? This is what we're doing? And I share that story because in birth, there can sometimes be chaos and struggle. And if you know this site, you remember what was here. This was a swamp. It was filled with trees. It was filled with adversity, and even through the birthing process, right, the site flooded. But ultimately, out of this site came something absolutely beautiful, right? And that is the building that we all sit here in today. And it's an absolutely wonderful place as well because it's targeted towards seniors, right, who need assistance with activities of daily care, right? And that is almost impossible to afford on a regular salary. Right? So there are people here who can continue to live independently, who can have the assistance that they need to have every day and continue to be active in our communities. And so for that, I am grateful. This is also an exceptionally complicated execution to pull off. There are lots of moving pieces, and in some ways, the business of running this facility is equally as complex as making sure that people have an affordable, beautiful, and healthy place to stay. So it was my honor to be a part of this transaction. I spent a lot of time on the phone with the good folks who are on the development side, and they pressed and they pressed and they pressed like most good developers will, and ultimately something beautiful came of it. So with that, I want to introduce Osama from Greg Cardona.
Well, good morning, everyone. And I had prepared remarks, but I don't know how to top that because I think you start off with a wonderful story. And ironically enough, I will say this before I go through my remarks. It's funny how developers and financiers and folks that are in housing mark the births of their children and the births of their projects. I'm Usama Swati. I'm with Greg Cardona Swati, and I certainly want to thank all the distinguished guests that are with us here today as we celebrate the grand opening of this phenomenal community that we call, that many of our residents will call home. This community represents our shared commitment to creating a world-class, inclusive, income inclusive, and inclusive in the capital I, assisted living community. Our inspiration really came from a very simple but profound value: honoring our parents and our elders. Many sacred texts remind us of this, and they remind us to simply provide that respect and care that our elders have done for us, those who've raised us, especially in their second spring, for those who know what I'm talking about. This spirit is truly, the spirit of gratitude is really what guided us through those flood days and through the hardships that bring about something like this, because the concrete, the drywall, all that stuff is secondary. It's the spirit of the place that we had to pull in to make this a vision. But again, you'll hear this in the regular theme. In 2017, as I mentioned to the mayor as we were walking upstairs, this mayor, this set of leadership today in this city, made a public policy initiative that literally it's squarely aimed at delivering services to district seniors. And we envisioned a place that, in response to that public initiative, that will create the opportunity for residents to age in their communities in place and live with that dignity, comfort, and get the best quality of life, as Mr. Bailey shared with us, surrounded by compassionate and supportive neighbors, because that's really what this is all about. Today, as we cut the ribbon for this community, we're taking one big step towards achieving that vision. And it wasn't singularly my vision or me and my partner's vision. It was a collective vision. Our vision also honors the legacy of community leaders such as Kimmy Gray. And for those who don't know who Kimmy Gray is, walk outside, take to the right, you'll see a fresh, beautifully produced J. Coleman original piece made out of lily pads. That's Kimmy Gray, and that barely captures who she was. She tirelessly worked for decades to deliver affordable housing and empower this community. Her passion and dedication truly left an indelible mark on this community. And today, that torch, that leadership, is continuing to be carried by new leadership. I can't see with the bright lights too much, but some of that leadership is here. I'll acknowledge Commissioner Dorothy Douglas, Commissioner Sharice Mohammed, current ANC Commissioner Siraj Hassan, Ms. Sheila Herring, the president of the Kenilworth Resident Council, Darlene Smith, the Kenilworth Parkside Resident Corporation neighbors. Those are all local leaders, because leadership is not singularly at top or bottom, it's across the spectrum, and that leadership truly came together here. At Grad Cardona Swati, along with many, many unsung partners, we're literally committed to this important work. We're striving to expand this very vision across, as the mayor said, across all wards, because this need is not singularly here in Ward 7, but across the city. And ironically enough, you mentioned the workforce. So we're building an ecosystem, helping participate in an ecosystem and deliver workforce programs. We believe literally it takes a village to deliver this much needed care, and the benefits extend beyond just delivering services to the Stuart Baileys of the world, but the benefits literally come back to us, because we're going to be employing north of 90 full-time residents here, and we believe there's an economic development component to this. The village will also soon expand. I don't know if Tony Freeman is here, but we're working with Howard University, for instance, to develop a workforce expansion program in this community and others. This initiative will literally enrich the students' lives, but also help us deliver better care here at the residences at Kenilworth Park and in other sister communities. In closing, and I don't want to be very wordy, I want to emphasize that this is more than just a building. Even though it is a building, it's a community. It reflects our shared collective values, our commitment to caring for those elders that raised us. It's our turn to pay it forward for them, and what we can achieve when we come together as community, leadership, government, and private sector partners. But we have a common shared goal here that brings us to days like this. By honoring that legacy of our community leaders, we ensure that that spirit lives on beyond a singular building. Finally, and this is where you'll bear with me, I just want to take 2 minutes to thank a few of the unsung heroes. I want to first, on behalf of my partners, Hazik Gregg, Vance Gregg, and Juan Cardona, and our partner emeritus, who will pay respect to him on this day, Nigel Gregg. I want to thank each and everyone for their role in bringing this vision to a reality. Our dedicated team at Grad Cardona Swati, Salman, Ehsan, Nikita, Chelsea. Also want to thank Renewal Housing, Hallbridge Partners, Warren Strong, Sharon, Andy Burns, many folks there. The Carding Group, Mike Beth, Kevin Fiore, Kimberly Price, for those who don't know Kimberly. Castle Hook Consulting, Claudia Schlossberg, could not do this work without her. She's a city asset. Lisk, Ramon Jacobson, Affordable Housing Partners are investors. The Bernstein Companies, Chris Best, City First Bank, DC Housing Finance Agency. We could not thank Chris Donald and his board for their leadership. This literally is the cornerstone of their work. DC Healthcare Finance Agency, Deputy Mayor Wayne Turnage, Director Melissa Bird, Catherine Rogers, E4H Architects, who have helped us design this world-class community. They're the best. Whiting Turner, our contractor, Chris Haslup, Patrick Senecor, Reno Kavanaugh, Gwen Allen, I don't know if she's in the room. We couldn't have delivered this day without her. Kelly Bissinger, and then last but not least on this list of thanks, our operations team. We could not do this without the Anns, the Torshis, the CCs, and the countless other staff that make this day happen. On a personal note, a very special thanks to my family, my wife Rashida and our kids who are at home sick today, my mother and my late father who did not get to see this building come out the ground, but I know that he's proud of what we're doing for his brothers and sisters on earth, and for their steadfast reports. Last, and I know I said last 3 times, I promise this is the last. I would like to extend a special thanks to Professor Sandy Bellamy, Becky Belay, Ana Hoa Zayas, you know who you are, and our resident artist, my partner Vance Gregg, for this lovely permanent art installation that is throughout this building. This collection is drawn from artists with roots in this neighborhood, in Ward 7. Every piece was curated from this neighborhood. And throughout the event, you'll see QR codes. If you want a copy, the mayor will be lucky enough to get a hard copy for herself. Everybody else, you got a QR code, get your phone out and download a copy. That is my spiel. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Let's go celebrate.
1, 2, 3.